Hey, so because I'm a historian, I'm not going to be able to stop myself from giving a brief history of why we are celebrating All Souls Day on November 1st, why you might want to join and just have a place for mourning and prayer in your life. Where did it come from? These are questions that may only interest me, but I will tell you. So if you're like an evangelical, or you're not, didn't grow up in a church tradition, or even if you're all different kinds of like different mainline traditions, unless you're Catholic or very specifically Anglican/Episcopal, and some Lutherans, she said suspiciously, you're probably not going to know what All Souls Day/All Saints Day is. So, and I would love to tell you. It's this little arc that starts with Halloween, All Hallows Eve. And like, as you know from the Halloween thing, that it's all about like trying to reconcile its relationship to like evil spirits, basically. Like, oh no, evil is in the world. How do we do this? And it's kind of like a time for, so what, people did was there was a whole set of practices that were developed around trying to think about like that thin place between the living and the dead. And so it started in the 900s at this monastery in Cluny, where monks developed a practice around like, how do we think about our relationship to the dead? And at the time, it was largely shaped around the idea that a belief in a purgatory, that in the place between the living and the dead, there was actually a place people could go if they weren't quite ready for heaven. And so that obviously like created a lot of stress, like, well, then when are they going to get there? And are they okay? And so for years, it was a time to kind of pray for those who were dead, but not yet in heaven, to think about the people who had gone. It was a time where there was like people would, and this stuff I love, Moravians, who are a tradition that I really love, are great about this, like washing gravestones. They actually have a really nice thing on Easter where they like play brass instruments on Easter to be like, doo-doo, death is over. It's so gorgeous, but like they tend to their dead. And that's like a thing we just don't have a place for. And so eventually, right, with the Reformation, which is, say, the beginning of Protestantism, Protestants just being at this point not Catholics, so this is the tree separating Catholics, Protestants. The Protestants were like, well, we don't really believe in purgatory, so then what is this? And so they kept it as a time for like commemoration and connection. So a place where they could have services to remember those they'd lost. And then like you can also imagine that during times of mass grief, that a lot of these rituals get revived. So after World War II, a lot of these Protestant traditions were like, well, what do we have in our own tradition to be able to deal with grief on this scale? And that's the time we're in right now. The scale of our losses is such that we need to look back and ask, has anyone found a place for this? Has anyone found traditions that help ground us during this time? So I think now is a great time to revive our practices around that little arc from Halloween through the Saturday is All Saints Day, which is just praying for all the like saints and people who've been actually like canonized, and then All Souls Day is the Sunday, which is the time where we remember all of those who are gone. And okay, so like that is why I feel strongly about it. But I do think we don't need to invent ourselves. That we have a rich and beautiful tradition that is there to help support us and guide and structure things that make us feel like we are in the wilderness and no one has ever been here before. No one has ever been where we are specifically before. Every life is beautiful in its particularity, but the world and our history understands the nature of mass grief, and we have places we can turn that can help give us inspiration. So, okay, history feelings. But if you like, please add a name of anyone that you would like to be remembered, and we'd love to just be able to pray for them and for all those who love them. So, okay, November 1st. I hope I'll see you there.